I've been tattooing here in Australia for over 13 years, specialising in neo-traditional tattooing. So I thought I'd share a little bit more about me. So let's jump into some questions. Alright, shit answers only. Let's go. Well, it all started back when I was like a young lad in my early 20s. So around, I don't know, if it was my mid-20s, maybe my mid-20s, 24 maybe, I started watching the LA Ink and no, it was Miami Ink and then LA Ink shows, and then was like really inspired to be a tattoo artist. So I just started working on my drawings. I started a little illustration business as a side hustle while I had other jobs and tried to be a rock star. And then built up a portfolio over time. And then, yeah, had the intention to be a tattoo artist, but wasn't really actively looking for an apprenticeship. I started getting tattooed a little bit more by the time I got in my late 20s, and then was obviously talking to Sharpie, my artist at the time, who I'm still good mates with. And he really encouraged me to get into tattooing. And so then I just coincidentally walked into a studio one day to buy a beanie and had a conversation with the owner. And then he invited me back to show him my folio. And then we went through and had a look, and he offered me an apprenticeship. And then that's how the ball started rolling. I spent about 3 months just learning the basic shop stuff and practicing on pigskin, as you do when you start out back in the day. And yeah, then after that 3 month sort of trial period, I pretty much got thrown in the deep end and just started tattooing, and the rest is history. That answered the question, yeah? I wasn't directly drawn to neo-traditional work. Like I mentioned before, I had a small illustration business as a side hustle before I got into tattooing, which was very sort of like comic book based illustration style. So that just sort of naturally evolved into my tattoo designs, which essentially was neo-trad. I think my first boss at the time was like, oh, your work's really neo-traditional. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. So in my naivety, I've just continued to draw the same way that I always have, and it's evolved naturally over the years and refined itself as you progress as an artist. So I didn't set out to be a neo-traditional artist. I just feel I naturally fell into it based on my drawing style. Okay, so my creative process is basically a client will reach out and then in that message they'll obviously give me a bit of a vague idea of what they want and where they would like it. Then I usually set up a video consultation, so that way I can at least see the person. We can have an almost in-person interaction, even if they're like in a state or have to drive pretty far and they can't just quickly pop into the studio. And then that way we'll sit down and discuss exactly what we're going to do and the approach and refine the subject matter. And then from there, once all the appointments are locked in and booked in, then I'll go and start like maybe a research element, depending on the subject matter. If it's something I'm not too familiar with, I will familiarize myself with it. And then I'll compile together a heap of reference work and images if the client hasn't already sent me some reference images. And then I'll basically just start designing from there. Depending on the project, if it's a one-off design, usually pretty straightforward. If it's a sleeve, I'll go through and I'll usually compile the whole sleeve, and the approach I'm doing these days is we'll line the whole arm in the first session and then get it all in, and then we'll just do color it from top to bottom in the following sessions. So yeah, that is a lot of design work in one hit, but it saves a lot more time later on, and the whole design overall looks a lot more cohesive than say doing a piece at a time. So that's basically my overall design process. I even used some big words in there and didn't fuck them up. Yeah, so collaborating with my clients is like really, really important. Obviously we have that initial video call consultation or an in-person consultation here at the studio. That way we make sure we're definitely on the same page. Once we're in and tattooing, we're always brainstorming. Even the next project, we're always talking about ideas. The idea for, especially with the color schemes and things like that, once we start getting into the color can evolve a little bit, and we'll collaborate on that and make sure we're both on the same page. So sometimes the client might have an idea, it may or may not work. So we just, conversations and brainstorming while we're going through the tattooing process is still really important, even though the design itself's already been done. And then we're always talking about the next project. A lot of my clients are continuing clients, and I'll do like limbs at a time or like projects at a time, which I'm super grateful for. But yeah, we'll just keep talking about the next one. So yeah, sometimes a client will have a lot of meaning behind their tattoo, and it can be quite personal for them. I've done quite a few like pet portraits of pets that have unfortunately passed away. So just making sure that you have that sensibility within the design and that the client is going to be really happy with how it looks is super important for pieces like that. And then on the flip side, some people just want to look cool and just want some really cool artwork on their arm or their leg, or they want a conceptual sleeve that sort of reflects something they're into, and they just want it to look cool, and they just trust me as an artist to come up and create something that they're going to be happy with. And I really appreciate that creative freedom, especially when it's just do your thing. Yeah, the industry is definitely very competitive these days. I feel like, especially here in Melbourne, it is a little oversaturated. There is a lot of artists and a lot of studios. So you really have to push your limits, I feel, to stand out from everyone else. So things like we're doing now with the extra videography, starting up a YouTube channel, and then that will evolve and we'll continue to push that, and it'll branch out into other things as we move forward. I feel like it's not just about the tattooing anymore. As much as we'd all like to sit here and say, the work speaks for itself and it's just about the tattooing, you really need to put yourself out there these days, so people can connect with you as a person even more than, say, your work that you're creating. Obviously your work that you're creating is super important, and you need to do the best job possible, but I feel like nowadays you really have to put yourself out there more on, say, platforms like Instagram and YouTube, and that's what we're doing. This job always comes with challenges pretty much on a daily. Like if you've done the design and there's been a bit of miscommunication with the client, sometimes the challenge is you might have to make some adjustments on the day in the morning and readjust and make sure the client's really happy with it. So that's one challenge. Other times we have your body can be a challenge. There's been times where clients have come in maybe not 100%, their skin hasn't reacted well, they haven't sat well, their body hasn't been as healthy as it could be. So again, you have to adapt, work around that, reschedule, make sure that they're going to be good for their next session. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. And then other challenges, there's always challenges with the business. Back in 2020, we had COVID for nearly 2 years. That was a huge challenge to get through. I had my own studio at that time, so I made things work and did the best I could and got through it, and came out better on the other side. But yeah, there's always challenges with this job, regardless of where they're coming from. It's how we adapt and overcome to succeed.
Even with an inspirational quote at the end, beautiful.
Through adversity,
Exactly.
you will succeed.
Yeah.
If you're looking to start out in the tattoo industry, the one piece of advice I can give you is hustle. Hustle, 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 draw, draw, draw. Do not stop. Do not give up. Do not let people that tell you you aren't good enough put a halt on your dream and where you want to end up. Just keep evolving, keep pushing yourself, keep looking at different things that can help you, keep learning, keep educating yourself. Talk to other artists that have experience is super important. Even myself now, I still talk to other guys and like pick up little things here and there and then implement them or try them. So things like that, really important. Don't be afraid to approach other artists, especially when you're starting out. I know it can be a little nerve-wracking. I certainly was nervous when I first entered the industry to go talk to someone that I really looked up to. Some people will be a little bit more responsive than others, but yeah, definitely go talk to other artists and hit them up with, you know, whatever questions you have, and keep pushing your style, whatever that may be, and keep refining it and keep trying to do your best work. Yeah, so we're here in a new space. I worked with Deadmine for the last year and a little bit after leaving Black Mark. I have previously had my own private studio for 5 years during that COVID period. So to go back into a private space just with one or two other guys has been really good. I get to express myself a little bit more in this space, and I can hang my own artwork up on the wall. Which is also really inspiring for my clients as well to look at and interact with as also. What can clients expect? Just a super relaxed environment, very easygoing. We've got a nice little couch here you can sit down and relax on when you're not getting tattooed. It's usually pretty quiet. It's mainly myself in here at the moment. Chris will pop in and out, and then yeah. I love working with all the guys at Deadmine. I got along with them really well, but I was just really looking forward to being in my own space that I can display my own artwork, and then obviously for content purposes as well. So it's worked out really, really well. Chris has been great, and yeah, I need to hang some more stuff on the walls, I think. I don't want to give away too much.
Okay.
I don't want to give away too much. So I do have a very solid 5-year plan moving forward. I was doing a podcast actually in this building with Chris last year, a few months after my daughter was born, and he asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was super stumped. I couldn't answer the question. I think my response was like, oh, just keep doing the best tattoos I can do. So after that point in time, one thing led to another, and once I started working with Dylan, it just snowballed, and I've come up with this like super awesome 5-year plan where we're just adding 1 or 2 things on each year to exponentially grow. We're growing the YouTube channel this year into next year. We will be starting a podcast next year, which I'm super, super excited about. It's not just about tattooing, it's about people's passions and what drives them in life. So I would really love to inspire other people to follow their dreams. And then from the artistic side of things, we will be going into book production eventually, probably in another 2 or 3 years, but just one thing at a time. We'll look at releasing some merch next year, getting back into the clothing side of things, which I've done in the past. So super excited about that. And then yeah, just some print production as well this year. Get some stuff out so people can hang some cool stuff on their walls. Since I moved to Deadmine, I've been able to like really flourish again, and then moving into this private space has really inspired me to go back to a lot of the ideas I had 10 to 12 years ago. Hence why we're getting back into the YouTube channel stuff. But yeah, I really want to focus on creating some really cool artwork as well in the second half of this year, moving in towards Christmas, so people can have some really cool stuff to hang on their walls. And obviously those designs can still be tattooed as well. Now that we have a solid plan for the next 5 years, I'm super excited for you guys to follow it along. A lot of it will be documented on my YouTube channel. Now you guys know a little bit more about me. Tap here to watch more videos. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
You needed some vocal warm-ups, or?
I was like, yeah, well, another swig of Boss coffee. Delicious. I don't know what to say.
I'm frozen.
And now I'm a rover. Let's start again. Ask the question again.
Nathaniel.
All right, let's go.
Nathaniel.
Stop saying Nathaniel. That's not my name. Nathan.
Can you tell us